guys, it's April and we're now going to be working on those abdominals. So we're coming up for the summer soon, so I've chosen a series of exercises here to focus on both our lower and upper abdominals as well as getting our six-pack muscle and our obliques to work. So all you'll need again for this workout is your mat, and again obviously just work within your own limits. So we're going to start off first with our abdo and our oblique prep. So we're going to come down onto the mat. And again, just check that you're in your neutral position, legs in your parallel lines. And we're going to make a little head cushion with our hands to support the head. And then bring that behind the head and allow the elbows just to float up into the peripheral vision. So again, just check your rib cage, make sure the ribs are still soft, and we're in our neutral position. So I want us to imagine here a little peach underneath the chin that we're going to not squash and not let it roll away. So for our abdominal preparations, we're going to draw the rib cage down towards the hips as we raise the upper body and lower back down. So your gaze will look just over the top of the knees as we reach those rib cages down towards the hips. So each time as we come up, again make sure that we're keeping that neutral position through the low back. Your tummy shouldn't be popping out, and we're breathing out as we come up and into lower back down. So we're halfway there, this is number 7, and we're going up to number 12. And each time also be aware of that rib cage as we lower the head back down, making sure we don't let those ribs pop forwards. So we've got 4 more to go here, keeping the elbows in the peripheral vision and making sure we're not pulling on the neck, and the movement continues to come from the rib cage. Last 2, and then we're going to lower our heads back down. So we're going straight into our oblique preps, where we're now going to do the same movements, same start position, but we're going to draw the rib cage this time over towards the opposite hip and look to the outside of that knee and lower back down. So again, we're going to alternate here from side to side. So we're aiming to do 6 movements on each side. And this time, again, still thinking about that peach underneath the chin and the elbows staying wide. Good. So again, check that you're in your neutral position each time you come up. And if you're coming up too high, you might feel that your low back is starting to flatten onto the mat. So just keep checking that we only move as far as we can control that neutral position. Good. So we've got our last 2 here on each side. Brilliant work. And then we're going to take this exercise into the higher level now. So if you're feeling anything in your back, you can obviously stay at this level for the second set. Otherwise, we're going to come into double tabletop. So same start position with the arms. We're then going to bring one leg up into tabletop. We're going to imprint by drawing the rib cage down towards the hips and bring the second leg up. And we can glue the legs together. And then again, we're going back into our abdominal preparations. So drawing the rib cage down towards the hips as we fold up. So still keeping our peach underneath our chin and curling from the rib cage and keeping that connection between the ribs and the hips as we lower back down. Good work. So again, it's the same breathing. We're going to breathe out to come up and in to lower back down. Good. So we've just got 5 more. Good. So keep that good form. And then we're going to lower back down. So keeping the legs lifted, we're going to go straight now into our crisscross level 1. So here again, we're going to fold the rib cage over towards the opposite hip and lower back down. So exactly the same movements as we did previously, but keeping those legs in the double tabletop. And this is going to challenge our lower abdominals a lot more. So again, if at any time you feel that you've got any pressure in your lower back, or you feel that the tummy muscles are starting to pop out, then you can lower either one leg back down or lower both legs back to your rest position. Good work. So keep that breathing going, out to come up and in to lower back down. Good. Last one here on each side. Then we're going to lower the head back down and then bring one leg back down at a time. Good work. Okay, so we're now going to challenge our lower abdominals a little bit more, and we're going to go into our scissors level 2. So again, starting in our rest position, we're going to float one leg up into tabletop, imprint, and then bring the second leg up. So again, check that we're in our nice neutral position. And from here, we're going to tap the right foot down towards the floor and fold back up. Same on the opposite side and fold back up. So as we're doing this, again, we're focusing on keeping that neutral position through the low back. Again, we don't want that back to arch or flatten or the tummy muscles to pop out. Also make sure that you're moving from the hip and it's not just the knee that's folding down towards the floor. So we just keep alternating there from side to side. And again, if you start to feel that you are arching, you can make that movement just a little bit smaller and not tap all the way down to the floor. And if you want to challenge yourself even more, then we're going to tap our foot further away. Good work. So we've just got 2 more here on each side. Good, and then we're going to go and take that straight into our one leg stretch level 3. So still in our double tabletop position to start. This time we're going to reach one leg away as though we're pressing the button on the wall and then fold back in. Same on the opposite side, fold back in. So again, it's an exhale as we lengthen away, inhale to return. So all the while just alternating from side to side, still keeping that neutral position. And again, making sure that we're reaching the hip away rather than just extending the knee up towards the ceiling. So it's almost like we're reaching away on that 45-degree angle. So again, keep that breath going as we do the movement. And we should now be starting to really feel that in our lower abdominals as we alternate from side to side. So again, we're aiming here for 12 of each of these on each side. Good, last 2 here. And then we're going to fold one leg back down at a time. Good work. So we're now going to progress on to our double leg stretch. And again, this is going to work through our upper abdominals and also focus a little bit on our rib control. So from the start position again, we're going to float one leg up into tabletop and then bring the other leg up. We're then also going to float the arms up towards the ceiling as though we're holding a big beach ball. So from here, we're going to reach the arms overhead as we lengthen one leg away. And then we're going to circle the arms back as the leg returns. So the arms and the leg reach away and we circle back to the start. So it's an exhale as everything lengthens away, inhale to fold back. So only taking the leg and arms far apart as we can control our rib cage and our neutral position. So again, we're going to exhale as we reach away, inhale to return. So just check each time that you're also coming back to that double tabletop position. And sometimes people find this quite challenging because the coordination becomes an issue and sometimes the arms have returned before the legs come back. So keep focusing on your timing as well. Good, last one there on each side. And then we're going to come into our level 5. So same position, and this time we're going to scoot back up into our abdo prep, and we're going to do the same movement here. So again, we exhale and inhale. So all the while, still thinking about that rib cage position. So again, only taking the arms and leg as far apart as we can control the ribs. Make sure you don't strain your neck here either. So if you're starting to feel any pressure in your neck, then just lower it back down to our level 4. Good. Last one on each side. And then we're going to lower the head and the arms back down and then float one leg back down at a time. Good work. Okay, so we're going to roll over now to face the front. So we're going to be working here a little bit more on our oblique muscles, but also on our shoulder. So we've just got to be careful to look after your shoulder. So just check that the elbow is sitting underneath the shoulder. And we're going to take our legs a little bit further behind us for this one. So your knees are bent and they should actually be behind your body. And you're going to imagine you're between two panes of glass so that we're basically keeping that body in a nice straight line. Our top hands are going to be resting on that top thigh, and just make sure you don't hang on the shoulder. So we're going to press away to start. So from here, we're going to squeeze the knees together and we're going to reach that arm up and over and then lower back down. So we're going to exhale as we come up and over, inhale to lower back down. So we're just going to do 3 movements here, still working hard on that shoulder. So make sure we're protecting the shoulder, and we should also be feeling it a little bit potentially in our waist. Good. So last 2 here. Good. Just going to move up this mat a little bit. That's better. Okay, so for our next one, we're going to stay up in that position and we're going to do 6 little arm waves. So this time we're going to come back into our side bend and we're going to wave that top arm 6 times. So all the while we're working hard on that underneath shoulder, but also we'll probably now start to feel it in that underneath waist. And then we're going to lower back down. We've got 1 more set like that. So again, little squeeze, reaching over, and our last little 6 waves. So keep working hard, again, pressing into the ground through your underneath shoulder. Good. Last 2. And lowering back down. Good work. So we've got 1 more variation here, which is going to be our little hip drops. So this time again, we're going to press up, keep the arm reaching up, and we're going to drop and lift. So a little hip drop down towards the floor, and then squeeze to come back up. So again, little drop, lift, lift. Last 1, little mini rest, and we've got our final round here. So again, we're going to squeeze those knees, reaching up, drop the hip, squeeze to return. Good. 2, 3. Last 3 to go. 2, 1. Lowering back down. So the bad news is we've got to do it on the other side as well. So this time we're going to come over. And again, just check that your shoulder and your elbow are in line. We're going to reach the knees again a little bit in line with your body so that your feet are behind you. And again, we're between our 2 panes of glass. So pressing away, top hand on that top thigh. We're going to squeeze the knees, reach up and over, and lower back down. So again, it's an exhale as we come over, inhale to hold, exhale to lower back down. Good. So all the while still protecting that underneath shoulder, pressing away. We're on our last 2 here. And then we're going to move into our little arm waves. So this time we're coming up and we're going to do our 6 little arm waves. So still really squeezing through that underneath waist, pressing away through the shoulder. Good. And lowering back down. 1 more set of the arm waves. Good. Keep smiling. It's going to be over soon. Well done. Good. Last 3, 2, 1, and coming back down. So we've got our last set here of our hip drops. So again, we're going to reach that arm up to the ceiling, little hip drop and squeeze. So again, really think about lifting through that waist, still keeping the hips pointing forwards, ribs soft. Good. Pulse, pulse, and lower back down. And it's our final 6 of this one, and just 1 more exercise to go. So we're coming up, little drop, squeeze. Good. 2, 3, 4, 5, and lowering back down. Good work. Okay, so on to our last exercise now, and we're going to go into a little variation of our plank. So we're going to be looking at both a short and a long plank here, just to make sure, again, that we work those abdominals under a loaded position as well. So for this one, we're going to come over onto our hands and knees. So again, you want your hands to be a little bit forward of the shoulders to start off with. And we're going to come into a long plank, your toes underneath. and we're going to come up into our plank position. So we want a nice strong long plank, so we've got that straight line through the body, and then we're going to bring the arms down to a short plank. Press away again to come back, little hold at the top, and then again coming back down. So all the while still focusing on the shoulder position. So stay lifted through the breastbone. Making sure that we're not letting that back arch. Good. Keep breathing as you move from position to position. We've got one more in each low and high plank. So last one here. Coming back up and folding back in. So you might just want to have a nice little shell stretch just to stretch out through that back. Just reach long through the fingertips and sit your bottom back towards your heels. Good work, well done guys. So that brings us to the end of our April abs blast. So join me next month where we'll be looking at some exercises for the triathletes out there.